May it please the court, my name is Timothy Wan, and I, along with my colleagues Mackenzie Rossiter and Ryan Rosenthal, are appearing herein for the defendant, Goldilocks. Your Honor, today the prosecution is going to try to set an example of a poor, defenseless, homeless minor, when really the problem they're facing is a systemic one. Finding Goldilocks guilty is the wrong solution for the terrible lawlessness problem facing our society. And proceeding with finding Goldilocks guilty is no different than selective prosecution designed to harass and injure her. Your Honor, the prosecution will be unable to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of the 3 counts of violating penal law for criminal trespassing 140.1, as well as 140.15, or even 145.05, which calls for criminal mischief in the 3rd degree. These 3 statutes need to provide intent from the defendant, and they're going to be utterly unable to prove that. Today, you're going to hear from Goldilocks. She's going to testify she's homeless. And with the dangers of big bad wolves and witches teasing children with candy in the woods, she's been on the run. She needs shelter, she needed food, she needed any kind of solace of any kind. She'll testify she was starving. She'll testify she never intended to cause any damage. She knocked on the door was unlocked. She hoped to find friendly assistance and was so exhausted and hungry, she unintentionally fell asleep. Your Honor, the defense will call Mr. Jack Spratt, who will testify as to the increasing dangers of the woods and show that these were exigent circumstances and how a young woman would need shelter in order to survive. Finally, the defendants will call expert witness the Sheriff of Nottingham. He'll testify that Goldilocks, she has no prior criminal record. She's not a repeat offender. She was merely seeking shelter and should be found not guilty in his expert opinion. Now, you're also going to hear from 3 witnesses for the prosecution. The first is Father Bear, the co-homeowner. We will show that he's been negligent. Look, Goldilocks isn't guilty. We're going to show he left his door unlocked. He took no care to secure his home. He took no care to protect his home at all. And if this little girl could break into the Father Bear's house, clearly her intent is not enough to rise to the level of violating the penal law. Prosecution will call the huntsman. The huntsman is a known murderer who's committed perjury to government officials, lying to the Queen, and will demonstrate that as a witness, he does nothing to prove the people's case. The prosecution will also call Geppetto. He doesn't live in the woods. He never saw anything going on here. He has no knowledge whatsoever as to any facts of this case, and he's far from an expert carpenter. Any testimony he may give to the value of property doesn't apply for this area. That may be fine and good for the big city, but not for here in the woods. There's a different cost of living, a different price of goods. We'll show that there is no intent by Goldilocks, no intent to trespass. She thought people were home. She was merely seeking safety. And we're confident that after hearing the testimony of all the witnesses today, you'll find Goldilocks not guilty. Thank you.